Hello my SAAB friends. Today it's going to be a little bit shorter of a video, but I just kind of want to talk about and show you how to swap out something that you probably didn't know that you could change out on your sports sedan 9.3 or 2003 and up 9.3. So this has been driving me nuts since I bought this car 2 years ago. It's my very well used 2008 SAAB 9.3 Aero. And what I'm talking about is this armrest. So these armrests, they move about all the time. I mean, it's a decent design and it's nice to have the adjustment, but honestly, like a lot of cars, you actually have a little button here that enables you the functionality of adjusting this. But this is actually just done by pressure. And while it's definitely worn out, it actually drives me nuts for one specific reason. Believe it or not, this tiny little micro tear in this leather is the reason I want to replace this armrest unit. I know it sounds pretty ridiculous, but hear me out. I imagine there's at least one thing within your vehicle that you would just absolutely love to fix, repair, replace because it drives you nuts no matter what. See, for me, my arm is covering this 99% of the time, but I know it's still there. So no matter what, I know it's there and I want to replace it. So I know it sounds kind of ridiculous, but I went to the junkyard about a year ago. I got some different parts. I needed a CIM for a friend's car. I got some extra glove box trim pieces and other odds and ends, and I figured, well, if I can get this off, I figured I would try without breaking or replacing this entire console. So I figured out a way to remove this. What's even cooler than figuring out how to remove this, the junkyard actually threw it in for free because I probably spent way too much money. So I figured, why not? My car has 132,000 miles on it. The car in the boneyard that I pulled this from, 60,000 miles. Sad, but the parts will live on in a couple different SAABs, including my very own. Let me show you how to replace this. Not in the most desirable state. I did pick this up from the junkyard, but it's actually in pretty decent shape. It's just been sitting up in my attic for some time now, probably a year. This is actually a very simple modification. It's just something that I've been kind of lazy to do. Because I did get it out of the junkyard, who knows what kind of grime has been on this thing. So, simple clean, a little bit of Lexol. You can use any kind of cleaner. But we're going to sit here, kind of scrub at it a little bit, and see how much we can clean this thing. So now it is pretty clean. I could probably do a little bit better of a job if I spent a little more time on it, had like a brush of some sort. That way you really get into these deep pores. But I would say that it's in much better shape than it originally was, or at least when I originally got it from the junkyard. So now, with it clean, think of this kind of as like pores to your face. You just scrub it up, your face real hard, cleaned all that grime, grit, grease out. Now you need to moisturize it. So I'm going to use the Lexol Deep Leather Conditioner. Put this on there, wipe off any excess, and we're good to install it in the car. Alright, there you have it. Now we're going to go throw this in the car. To begin, we need to slide this armrest all the way forward and remove this vent system. So easiest thing is probably using a trim removal tool, or I actually have a method where the vent up here that's notorious to remove and it explodes, it gets all over the place. I have a trick to remove that, which actually may help you with this if a trim removal tool is not working for you. So click up here, that's the video to remove that vent, which may assist you here. But for this, there's 4 tabs, 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom. We'll start at the bottom. There's the 2 tabs on the top and the 2 tabs on the bottom. Now with that vent removed, this gives us access to both hinges, and of course there is one on each side, the other one tucked up in here. So if you're curious at what these look like, we'll refer to the replacement part. They are these L-shaped brackets, and then there's some little tabs on each side, and plastic locks into it. So we're going to try to separate that plastic and drop these downwards, and then of course do it on both sides, and then we'll be able to fish this out. So you can use a combination of a trim removal tool, flathead screwdrivers, or even your finger, but the point being you need to get in behind here to kind of separate this a little bit. So I have one screwdriver behind and the other one go behind here. So there's one, and once I got it finangled downwards, I kind of put pressure on the back of this and pushed it backwards so it doesn't pop right back into the tab, because of course we need to do the exact same thing on this opposite side. Now with both tabs released, we just need to pop this out. And it slides out of those 2 channels like such. And here is what we're dealt with. The old unit, kind of dirty, that tiny little micro tear that drives me nuts. But this one we can set to the side because of course we are replacing it. And here's kind of a better look at those tabs. So this is the back side one, and this is the front side one, which of course we separated it, and then that armrest bracket falls right in between there. Now I will mention that these plastic brackets, they are pretty malleable, they move about pretty well, and they are quite resilient, but like any plastic, and especially dependent on the age of the vehicle, you will want to be careful prying on these because they are liable to break. So now, here is the new one that of course apparently I got dirty already. Alright, that never happened. So here is the new one I got from the junkyard. And installation is a little bit easier. You just fish it in. I start at the top on each side, and of course push it backwards. Now we need to get these brackets lined up. That's pretty much it. So you don't really need any screwdrivers or trim removal tools or anything to get it back into place. Basically, just start, fish it backwards, like such. Goes into that channel. You push it back towards yourself and kind of shimmy it a little bit here and there, and then you'll be able to get it into place. And just proof here. Everything is locked in. That moves about just fine. Now, last but not least, this vent. And this is actually quite simple. Just kind of fish it down in there. Make sure these move about just fine. There you have it. Ooh. May need to get some air blaster, air duster, whatever it's called in there. That's kind of gross. Just ignore that. But there you have it. If a viewer is interested in this piece, I will gladly ship it out to you free of charge. Just pay the postage. I imagine if you're in the United States, it'll be around $8 to $10, and I will also ship internationally, but I will need to do a little more research, and then it'll definitely be a little more as far as shipping costs. But if you want it, I'd love this part to live on as opposed to throwing it in the trash. I mean, it is in actually decent shape, a little bit dirty, a couple scratches that may be able to be buffed out. And of course, the whole reason why I swapped this thing in the first place is that tiny, minuscule tear. Majority of people could probably live with that, and you never know, this might be better than the one currently in your vehicle. And then as far as this sliding action, it's in decent shape. So 130,000 miles on it, but it's actually been well kept. It's just that drove me nuts. Whereas you may be able to live with it. So, like I said, if you're a viewer, you're interested, comment down below, and the first person that's interested, I will send you an email, and we'll figure out the payment, but just pay the postage. This could be yours. So there you have it. The old one with that tiny little micro tear that you probably think I'm ridiculous for replacing this in the first place for. It's out. The old one, done. Don't need any longer. The new one is now in place, functioning like it should. I am smitten as a bug in a rug right now. So this is pretty awesome. I've been wanting to do this for the past 2 years. Honestly, I've had this part for at least one of those years, so it is my own doing. But I kind of put it up in the garage attic and lost it for a little bit until recently doing some cleaning, and I found it. So very excited that I replaced this. Not that difficult to do, and quite honestly, probably not a lot of SAAB owners know that you can replace just this top leather armrest piece without replacing the entire console. And hey, if you're lucky like myself, you're buying something else SAAB related at the junkyard, and they threw it in for free. You can't beat that. So with that being said, I do appreciate you watching. Sorry it's kind of a shorter video. It's not something that's going to keep your SAAB on the road for a lifetime and so on and so forth, but hey, it's knowledge nonetheless. So I appreciate you watching. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, be sure to drop a comment down below. And like always, thank you for watching. I'll catch you guys next time.